Well,
Oh, go ahead, Councilmember.
I was just wondering if we couldn't include Lummi Island in the governor's district and give her the boat to boot.
I'm on board
I'm
with
sure
that.
she wants that boat.
I think the governor is looking for ways of saving money.
Exactly.
Passing costs
Getting
on to-
rid of-
Governor lives in Olympia, she can pay part of it on her property taxes.
Exactly.
You know, a 75-cent levy, which is the maximum you can levy under as a potential board of supervisors of this district, would generate about $200,000 a year. Now, $200,000 a year, here's the point I want to make. $200,000 a year would roughly allow you to purchase maybe about $3 million of a bond,
For a 20-year bond.
for a 20-year bond.
3 million, and when we priced a ferry, it was about 8 million, as I recall, although it might be a little less if steel's come down and the shipyards are hungry.
Can you repeat that?
Those numbers.
I'm just going to give the rough association, the levy, the maximum levy associated with the assessed valuation of Old Lummi Island would be roughly $200,000 a year. That's how much would be collected. And $200,000 a year would actually be probably enough to support a $3 million bond that would be paid out over 20 years.
Now, could we, let's say a new ferry was $6 or $8 million. Could we then use the potential implementation of a ferry taxing district on Lummi Island as sort of a matching fund to go out and get a grant for the remainder? So let's say we could cover half of it with a bond based on a ferry district on Lummi Island. Are we aware, and I don't know if this is a question for Frank, is there money out there? I know we turned down the 8 million, which was very frustrating, but before, but could we go possibly and apply for 3 or 4 million and say we'll match that? In state funding requests, usually when you have local matching money, that adds fuel to the fire and that gives you precedence over other applicants in a competitive situation.
I'd say the concept is absolutely correct, specifically when we're so competitive right now, or the competitive times for those kind of grants. You know, on the Transportation Improvement Board, as people are applying for those kind of monies, the more money you can put up as your portion, the more apt you are to get that particular approval. I think the same thing would go for the Public Works Board and many other opportunities, because that money is kind of drying up. It's getting really competitive. One thing that I wanted to point out, though, is that you had revised this estimate down for a new ferry. I would disagree with that respectfully, yeah. Even when we were talking about the acquisition a few years ago, we were talking about a $10 million expenditure. And I'd look for that to be easily $10 to $12 million today. I think they might get a little bit better on their labor costs, but the material costs have not been going down. Those have been still climbing for the steel and acquisition materials worldwide, actually. So if you're talking about a vehicle ferry similar to what we have or a little bit bigger, which is what we were planning actually, and I believe it was 07, 08, those costs wouldn't be going down. You'd be in that $10 to $12 million range. And in addition to that, you'd have probably another $3 million you'd have to add to that in order to make adjustments and upgrades to at least one or both of those ferry docks in order to accommodate the larger size, newer ferries.
Let me, you guys get your hands up, and I'll get to you in just a second, but I want to take this same line of thought and just extend it a little further. So if we get $3 million in bonding capacity, you know, I know our road fund's strained, to say the least, but could we take 3 million from that and then possibly get 3 or 4 or 5 million somewhere else? And I guess where I'm leading into this
Leverage
is,
that.
can we, you know, we're sitting here wringing our hands year after year saying, boy, we're just doing patchwork on the Whatcom Chief, and this is kind of, you know, it's kind of like what Sheriff Elfo says about the jail. You wonder, are we just dumping good money after an old rusty hulk that we should have been instead working on replacing. Is this the timing to do that? I mean, should we get it done now, or should we pass this off to the next generation of people to worry about? And it's gonna be rustier and hulkier and crummier. Do you have any feelings on that as Public Works Director?
Yeah, I'd say as Public Works Director, that's probably something I shouldn't answer.
Isn't this what the task force is supposed to
That
do?
sounds like a political decision whenever you're starting to talk about spending $12 to $15 million on replacement.
Yes.